It being 6:05, I'll call to order the meeting of the Carver Redevelopment Authority for December 14th, 2021. God. We'll go right into our Route 44 development project. There's been a couple of minor developments that we've been working on, and I'm trying to think in the past week. Look at your calendar, Avery. Tell me where you went.
Tell me.
My calendar's up here. We had the working group meeting a week ago today.
The working group was a week ago today, and it's a week from tomorrow, right? Today.
A week from today.
Yep.
Yes. That was coming out of that was that the chief was still going back and forth with Hillwood. Do we have to start over?
I'm sorry.
The chief was going back and forth with Hillwood, making progress on talks, and I believe they still are.
Okay.
Based on
I think they are.
emails that I've seen.
Yep. Some emails.
We talked a little bit about the fact that even though the warrant article is due next Monday, the 20th, the meeting of the select board, this is from Mark Townsend, was going to be executive session only. So that there's probably not going to be discussion or even a mention to the public about the fact that this warrant is there, which buys us a little time on the website page. If we want it. You and I need to talk after this. We need to get together and I looked through everything today. What else?
You had a meeting with Stephen Cole?
I had a meeting with Stephen, and that was to discuss an expanded role for him as a consultant, not only for the RDA, but sort of as a pinch hitter for the town. And I think I mentioned at the working group meeting that I thought there might be a conflict of interest there. And Stephen definitely saw it as being a conflict of interest, and graciously said no to expanding his role.
As a liaison, but he's certainly on board as our consultant and advisory capacity.
Can I ask a question? How is it conflicted?
Because he would be paid sort of by Hillwood through and also paid by the town. So
He's paid by the town?
He would be if he took on this additional role.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can he say, don't pay me?
Good luck with that.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, it just doesn't look right.
Okay.
And what we're trying to find is a role player or someone to fill the role of acting as a liaison to the town from our board to fill in some of the gaps that we're anticipating experiencing with the loss of the town administrator, and until the new interim town administrator comes on board. And at this point, we don't know if he's going to be full-time, he or she full-time, he or she part-time, or how much experience they're going to have with something like this. So
up until now, if we needed to deal with the town, we dealt with Jim.
Yeah.
Or after Jim left, we dealt with Rick.
Yeah.
We needed to get permission to contact KP Law because that's the town's attorney.
Calm down. It's okay.
I have a problem. You know I have a problem with that.
It's okay.
But they're
the
town lawyer. That's who that is. For this project, they're going to be the ones. So, we need to have access to them. And whether it's through someone or direct access, we need to have that. So we were looking for someone who could provide that permission for us. And KP Law is only one element. Rick was very involved in speaking to Mac Utsi about
Yeah.
different things that came up, dealing with the financial impact statement.
Right.
He was kind of guiding that through, the Judy Barrett issue. So these are all roles that were outside of the RDA, but taken over by representatives of town government, and all of them are going to go away. So it's a role that we're probably going to have to take on ourselves, but we need the permissions to do that, to contact the people that we need to contact.
Who's going to give you that permission?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. We were
Trying to-
looking for someone. Pat?
I think that the role that the RDA plays gives weight to the fact that we do need that contact. I think that could be done by Rick indicating to KP Law, the proper person or people at KP Law, that yes, the RDA will be contacting you when necessary, and yes, they have the wherewithal to do it. He can do that. I don't want to go through the Board of Selectmen,
No.
because that wouldn't work. And
Well, it'll take them
we
2
don't-
meetings to decide.
We don't, well, don't get me going here.
Okay, that's you and I. We'll be going.
There is, when, like when I was at the school department, okay, there was, basically, it was the superintendent that would talk to our council. But also I could. Okay? And I see this as kind of the same thing. We don't, and yet, Savory, and we've talked about this and talked about this, and, we are, that's just one item. That's just one thing that is going to impact, not only us, not only this project, but everything else that goes on in this town. And what I would try to avoid, and we've talked about this in the working group, is to have each of the committees or whatever become its own contact or instigate its own communication. That would just be pure chaos.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
can't have that, but we've got no point person anymore.
Right.
And I don't think there is a point person that certainly that jumps out at me, whatever. And so it's going to have to be, I don't know, a committee, a subcommittee, representatives of certain groups forming a 3 or 4 person subcommittee. I don't know what the answer is, but we've got to get something with Rick to indicate to KP Law that yes, when the RDA calls, they have the wherewithal to do it, they're representing the town properly, and their call should be taken, and their request should be followed up.
You forgot to add one thing. We pay the bill.
Well, we do.
Yes.
I mean, that's not,
Whatever that may be.
Well, that's right.
Well, maybe we pay the bill.
No, we do pay our bill.
well, no, some of them I think are town bills.
Some are town bills and some are, but I think that's doable. It's practical. And it needs to get done. And we've got another working group meeting
Next month,
Before-
Tuesday.
Rick leaves.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to him before that.
Well, he was at our last meeting, and this was brought up, and he said, there is no one. He could offer us no guidance, nowhere to go.
But all we need for him to do is to say,
Just give us
say
the-
it's okay, because there's
Yeah,
no one
that's
else.
all we need.
No one else to do that.
Right.
And in lieu of that, it may have to be the chairperson of the Board of Selectmen,
Oh, okay.
but not the board.
No, the board does not get to vote on this.
No. Even though they probably,
I mean, our other alternative is waiting for the new planner, but they haven't even advertised
Oh, my God.
the position. And I don't, for an update on that, I don't even know where they are with this. It hasn't been advertised. They talked about trying to get a consultant in to come in and just help the planning board, help us through, I mean, there's a lot of jobs with this project that the planner was doing.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know, there's a lot of technical assistance that we needed on our end.
Yes.
And since September, we've been without this. And it's had an effect on our ability to move smoothly.
And we're focused on this. I mean, no one's really even talking about Montello Street.
No.
Which is the thing that's being done right now.
Is the thing that's being done right now,
I don't
which is
know
a
who's
project
making that.
that's, the project that is overseen by the planner as far as the bills being paid and monitoring. And I think I heard Elaine have it
well, I don't know.
on her plate as well.
It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
can I take a thing out of order?
Nope.
Okay.
It's just easier, Joanne.
Excuse me?
It's just easier that way.
Okay.
If it's on point, you can, but if it's not, think for a second.
Well, it is on point.
Well, we're not doing the bylaws yet.
No,
so-
no, it is on point.
Okay, well,
Because it deals with
sneak it in. Oh, no, we'll get to that.
number 3.
We'll get to that.
Okay, promise?
It's number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in there.
Okay.
But as far as our development moving forward right now, I think Pat's idea is good. One or two of us have to meet with Rick and just say, give us a name. And, I mean, right now we go through Amy Questle for zoning, we go through Catherine Klein for other things. And it's just going to kind of, we have to get this answer in the next 2 weeks.
Are there other committees that have the ability to deal with
Not
them
to my
direct-
knowledge.
deal with them directly?
No.
No.
Not to my
Well,
knowledge.
Well, that's a good idea, but this is an exceptional circumstance. The only other thing I think of is when there is an interim in, and I've said this before too, because I don't think that an interim is going to be here to maintain. It's going to keep the building running, it's going to keep the doors open, going to
Yeah.
keep the school department, the DPW, and everything else. That's what their job is. It's going to be to keep that going, not to get involved in this massive project, and I don't want them involved in the massive project.
Well, it's also going to be taking it to town meeting if they do a 6
And-
months.
And I think that any credible interim is going to say, no, that's not what I was here for.
It's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
So,
And so, but the only other thing I think of is when an interim does get here, if an interim obviously would have the wherewithal to deal with KP law, and then the interim could say, for these types of questions, you're going to deal with the RDA.
Or if that's already established before Rick leaves, then they just maintain it.
That's right.
Right.
That's right, but
Because the process is now, if I have a question, zoning or something else, procedurally, I send the question to Rick and ask him to send it, and then I wait for replies.
Yeah.
And there's just these email threads that end up kind of convoluted or simply lost.
Well, there's reasons for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to do that like I said, when I was in the school department. We
Yeah.
don't want everybody, any principal, department head or anything else, just to have a free,
Yeah.
a direct access. There's reasons for that, so. But I think we can get around that under the extenuating circumstances.
So would you like to speak to Rick on your own, on behalf of the RDA?
I'll speak to Rick tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Is that all agreed?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And see if you can get some kind of a point person for us as we head into town meeting.
Yep.
And that might be someone at KP Law,
It could be.
because they're going to be the ones who understand the machinations of how this all works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, okay.
But the key is to find some kind of a point person from here that we contact that can get us, even if they grant us access to Greg, Corbo, and
Rick can do that before.
Rick can do that, but he knows that if he gets an email from you or me or one of us that...
No, I think Rick, before he leaves, can give us that permission to talk to Greg,
Exactly.
so we don't have to go another step further.
Right, but if I talk to Greg and it's a zoning question, he'll be the one to kick it off, and,
Well, that's, yes.
yeah, he can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the update on the development of the website and the FAQs. I've seen them, and they all look great. I've got, every now and then, something else sneaks into my head to ask, like I sent you one today to ask about. And our plan is, for the folks at home, our plan is to have a website that's designed for easy access, easy maneuvering, frequently asked questions, and this will be the place to find the proper and appropriate and factual information to combat anything else some people have heard, but this would be a place to go, and we're hoping for a launch, Paul, end of the year?
By the end of the year, it may even be sometime next week, depending on, I saw what you did today.
Just as an update, the functionality of the site is pretty much there. And now it's just a matter of the right content and how much you want to make it public, because it still might be in its massage stage.
Right.
Content, the specifics of the content.
Okay.
Right.
But
I noticed that you didn't have any links to the FAQs.
And we can talk on, because all I had right now, because there were so many changes with the FAQs,
Okay,
that all I did was leave in an outline,
okay.
just as a bookmark. And then
Okay.
that's what we can talk about.
All right, now a quick question for you, and we can talk about this whenever we get together, but the little video, the drone video that you put on the homepage, can you edit that for length? It's right now it's 40 seconds. Can you start it at the 8 second?
I may be able to talk with, is that the ones from Serpent? Just so you know, I've contacted Serpent, and Serpent has given us some updated photos of that whole area, as much as they knew, and as well as a drone video.
Okay.
That's the update. So they have control of that.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want to necessarily, but I can talk to them to see if I can edit.
Okay.
And we might be able to even get it to Pact or something.
Because there's a little bit at the beginning and a little bit more at the end that doesn't show the site.
It's rough.
Yeah, but if we
Okay.
can, there's good stuff there.
Yes.
So if we can have that in conjunction with the background map, which has to be shifted a little bit. I did a screenshot of that, so I have that. Then I think that would help identify where this is for people.
Okay.
But we'll talk about each of the pages. I did go through everything today. And
I had sent an email just asking for, okay, this is the stage we're at. And Savory's been using his spare minutes.
yeah,
I didn't know I gave him any.
and trying to write the script for the 2-minute video too.
The spare
But
is in
I
quotes.
finally had it. I finally got a direction today. I finally came up.
Yeah.
Driving around Plymouth, I went, that's it. That's what to do. So I don't know what driving around had to do with it, but
No, sometimes you drive and think.
Yeah.
And you see something and it hits you.
yeah, and 5 minutes later, you don't even realize you're driving. That's the problem.
We're not going to go through the FAQs in detail, are we?
No?
No,
I just have one to add, that spots, I think I'd asked you.
about,
Someone told me about spot
oh,
zoning.
I sent that to Savory.
Who asked that?
What?
Who asked that?
I'll tell you after.
Spot zoning.
Do you want to define spot zoning for
yeah.
us?
Spot
I
zoning.
gave her some examples too.
She did, and...
Spot zoning
you
is
have to-
changing a parcel
Yeah.
from one zoning to another in a zone, in a particular zone. So that's like taking a parcel in a residential zone and making it commercial. One parcel. These bylaw changes are for the entire green business zone.
I know, it's what I
So it's not
I
spot.
clearly defined it, but it came up, and I'm just telling you.
It's not spot at all.
I don't know how you want, if you want to answer it or not, but it came up to me.
Well, we
Well,
can answer it. The answer's no.
We can
not
answer,
spot
it's not spot zoning. The zoning changes that we will be proposing next week to go on the warrant, which we'll discuss in more detail afterwards, is not spot zoning. It affects the entire Green Business Park,
Yeah, the district.
the district, the whole district, the whole
Explain that.
300 acres.
People are funny.
I know.
Well, and this is the point of the website.
Right.
In that, the 3 or 4 of us can't go around answering random questions to people that we meet at Dunkin'. Because the person with the spot zoning concern may have told 2 other people, may have told 3 other people.
That's the problem. I'm thinking that.
And the answer from all of us is, I'm sure we'll have it memorized, but go here, go there, click here.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm just.
And it's just, we'll be responsible for the content, but it's just that it will all be factual. And there'll be, I think we're working on a place where you can ask your own question.
Yes, we are.
So that'll all be organized. And
That's in there.
yeah, so that's basically, it's just the easiest and most responsible way to do things. Or they can come to a public meeting and maybe ask a question, but that isn't the best way to convey all the information at the same time in one location.
Right.
Right.
And that is our goal.
An interesting side note on spot zoning is that if it is beneficial to the community, it is legal in Massachusetts.
Oh, maybe you need to write it up. Just write it up. That'll kill it. Black and white or color, whatever you want to do.
So I think in the next meeting, which will be probably at the first of the year, will be much more forthcoming. We'll have exact questions that we've had. We've had difficulty getting some things out of KP Law, and as far as an analysis from the town's point of view and what does this actually mean, because none of this is being done without the best interests of Carver in mind, and we're trying to keep that, in line at all times. It just has a lot of moving parts.
There was also a meeting Friday morning, a
Oh,
Zoom
that's right,
meeting.
the Zoom meeting, yeah. Well, I was going to be on that one this week.
Okay, and that was with the 2 people from the public relations firm that Hillwood has hired. Paul was on it, Stephen Cole was on it, and there were 4 representatives, I would say, from Hillwood. Their attorney, John, was on it, Matt Goodsey was on it, Nate was on it, and someone from Bowler, who was their engineer.
Oh, okay, they're engineers, yep.
And it was a long meeting, but we got a lot accomplished, and we have a lot of action points
Yeah,
for
I
this
saw
Friday. They've already sent some of the materials that we asked for, and I asked for another one tonight, and Matt just got back to me, and he's going to find it for me. I think that we'll be in a good place on Friday that we're moving along. I think all the action points, or most of them, other than perhaps financial. I don't know where we stand with that.
I did actually talk to Mac today, and he once again said that, I said, we really need the fiscal impact study so that we can review it and either counter propose it or have our people look at it in Carver and see if there's any glitches in it or anything they've overestimated or underestimated, and he said they're still waiting.
For that person that he hired?
I think they've got it, but they're going through it.
Oh, wow.
Judy Barrett. So I think they've got it. I don't mean to keep turning away from it.
That's okay. I just can't understand how a company like that can be
That's a huge company.
at the mercy of it just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
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 Billion-dollar company, and they get...
Yeah. They hired a local attorney. I think she's an attorney.
Which is fine. That's good, good for them
But
to do that, but...
But she was claiming there she didn't have the proper comps, and then there was a question of she didn't get information from Carver. Carver said they sent it, she didn't get it, she needed other information.
It's gonna get worse now.
And so there was a lot of back and forth through about 3 months. It was due, I think, sometime 1st of September. We expected to see it.
Yeah, Stephen has indicated that comps are hard to find as well.
Stephen sent us an email saying comps for a project that he doesn't know exactly what it is just yet are difficult to find.
Yeah.
Well, he said he was having trouble finding 65-foot
Yeah.
height projects because all of the projects are listed.
He did tell me that, yeah.
All of the projects that are listed by clear height, which is the interior.
Interior.
They don't go to the outside. So if you look up 40-foot clear height, which is what Hillwood's looking for, there are plenty of projects, but you can't find out how high the buildings are on the outside.
Wow.
So, you know, the outside height is immaterial to,
The clear height.
it's immaterial to the
Oh, I got
the
you.
renter or the
Oh, I got you,
or the
got you.
owner, because
Yeah.
they don't care how
They don't
high
care
it
how
is
tall
on the
it is.
outside. They need to.
They only need to know what's inside.
Yeah, there are 3 common sizes. There's 32 feet, 36 feet, 30, and 40 feet. Those are the 4 common.
Of clear height.
Interior?
Yes, clear height. That's from the cement floor to the bottom of the lowest thing on the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
And nationwide, the numbers just is, average is going up and up. It used to be everything was 32 feet. Now the average is somewhere in the neighborhood of 34 and a half nationwide. So that's, you know, it's heading towards 36 as the median, but that's because it's adding the 32s and the 40s. So, and I did find one and sent it to Stephen. There's one in Arizona that's 970,000 square feet with a 40-foot clear height
Yep.
inside. So I sent a link of that to him. So maybe that's close enough for a comp.
And what he's trying to do with those is try to convert that to income, to revenue to the town. Either
Yes.
by taxes or personal property and other revenues to the town.
Right.
So jobs, kind of. He's trying to find that information for us, so we'll have that for our own use.
You're talking about Stephen now.
Stephen Cole. Yep. And when people hear the 65 feet, I want to be clear that it's only, the zoning change will be up to 65 feet. But that doesn't mean the building is 65 feet and then on top of that go solar arrays or antennas so that the maximum height could be 80 feet. It's not anything like that. The maximum height is up to 65 feet, and that includes the top of any solar arrays that they might put on the top, being the green business park, or antennas, or
Air conditioning. HVAC,
units,
yeah.
and don't they usually put those up there, and things like that. So when we talk about 65 feet, we're talking about an aggregate total of everything that is included on top of your building. Just like your house peak may be at 35 feet, but your entire house is not 35 feet tall.
You know, living space, yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that's out there. So the proposed zoning bylaws are due on 12/20, which is Monday, and they have to be in an acceptable form for essentially a placeholder. I think we're really firm on the kind of small changes that we need. There's 1 or 2 parcels that they need rezoned that the developer has acquired, and that's all going to be in there. So we will, there's some minor ones, but those will all be made public after we submit them. And then there's some minor tweaking, but public hearings we expect to be sometime in the 1st of March or thereafter. The first 3 weeks of March, the planning board will schedule public hearings on these, and that's an opportunity for anyone who needs to be heard can be heard. Look at the website first, maybe that'll answer your questions, but those will be the opportunity to hear.
And that's going to be run by the planning board?
They sponsor them, but we'll be speaking on it.
Oh, good. Oh, go.
And we'll only be at one of those three.
Yeah, we're only one.
They split their articles up across
Are
three
there other
meetings.
articles? Okay.
Yeah, it'll be any article
So
that's
our article will only be at one of the public hearings.
one of the public hearings. And they, I think they bookmarked maybe 3 meetings that they handle those.
Okay.
And I really don't know anything else that's coming into town meeting this year. Could be anything. The select board, I spoke with Mark Townsend today, and as Savory mentioned earlier, the select board would like 2 members to go before them, and it is after a regular meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
is that this executive session?
It's
you're
the
talking
executive session.
about? What date was that, please?
It's going to be 12/21, next Tuesday.
Yeah,
Oh, great. Next is the articles, and the next day is them? Are they going to be doing anything with it?
No, it's just, Mark feels strongly that, we haven't been in a while. We did 1 or 2 updates with them. We did a joint meeting with them. But this is an opportunity in executive session. The chief will be there to speak freely, and they can express concerns, and it might give us some guidance and direction as to things that we might need to focus on, questions that we might need to add, things that we haven't thought of. But it will also be a good opportunity to give just a quick overview, not go into too much depth yet. That
So the chief's going to be there.
the Chief Weston will be there talking about his negotiations.
Is the water board going to be there?
I don't believe so.
Well, I think they should be there. We're
Well,
talking
that's,
about water.
it's not my meeting, and
Could
they're
you
not-
send an email to somebody to ask them that you had a particular board member through this?
well,
Process?
they're just trying to get an overview on the 2 biggest players, which has been the fire chief. He needs to be satisfied, and the RDA, because we're holding basically all the strings everywhere else. So I think
they should be there. I don't think they've been around too long.
They haven't been active at this.
they haven't been active.
They've been
And
active.
I think that's a problem. We're dealing with water. I look at these articles, we're looking at water tower. And
Well,
it says they may not own them. I mean, I don't even understand any of this. I don't want to get into it, but it's just like, whoa, where the heck is this water? Don't they, do they own anything? They own the pipes or anything?
They own, I think they own the pumping station.
They own the pumping station.
The coal property.
On the coal property, and it needs,
They own the pipe?
in order to accommodate what the chief needs for water
Yeah.
and water pressure,
Yeah.
and the water tower, which will be given to the town, they need to significantly upgrade their pumps, which I believe Hillwood is talking about doing, because the chief can't get what he needs on his end if the North Carver Water District is not improved. But it's time to start kind of talking. Now that the chief has an idea, it's time to maybe start talking with them. But the select board has only asked for 2 members of our group to go in.
Well, we know who's going.
I knew it was you. And I can go, so. And it will be,
2 of you should be going.
it will be, it will be after,
Yeah.
you gonna say it?
Yeah, I think the people from the water, they're gonna be given something.
Well-
They ought to be entitled to sit there and listen to what the hell is going on. They have not been participating, that's what I'm hearing.
Well,
Right?
I haven't seen, I know they had a meeting last night.
Excuse me, but the excuse is we work. Okay, start having a 5 o'clock, 5:30 meeting.
And that may happen after the first of the year. They may move the working group to accommodate at least 1 member.
Yeah.
I mean, that may happen, Joanna, but it's not,
Well, I think in that session, they ought to be appearing, at least listen.
Yeah, because that's the 6 o'clock meeting.
Yeah, at least,
Yeah.
at least listen,
Well,
They should be a
that's-
part of.
they expect us to go into executive session about 7:30.
So the meeting will be...
The meeting's at
This is
6.
a regular select board
I
meeting?
guess
right.
so. Mark indicated to me that he didn't think.
There's
it was,
nothing on
but
the agenda yet,
I
but,
just looked, there's no agenda.
yeah, there's no agenda yet, but he did say that they thought, when I talked to him today about it, he said that it would be a regular meeting, and they were going to hold executive session afterwards.
Okay.
Executive session?
They're waiting for one member of the board who's coming in from vacation to get there, and he can't get there at 6. So,
Okay.
but, so Savory, you and I,
Yep, it's already
you
on the
okay with that?
calendar.
Yeah,
Okay.
we agree. I just might write to Mark Townsend. No, I'm sure you took care of it.
I
but-
did. I did. All right, now, this is what our Joanna's been working on, and I really appreciate it, but what we call the update of 94th Street is actually moving our council to Kathleen O'Donnell.
Did we want to talk about,
Oops.
The frequently,
back up.
yeah, I just wanted to ask you, there's a comment here, it says, updated proposed zoning bylaws for Warren, expected timeframe for public hearing. I understand that. I looked at these articles, they are very confusing, number one, but I really want to ask Savory, your frequently answered question, which is here, and you diligently have listed these bullets. Is what you're saying in there correctly? If you compare, if you pulled out what you said, and you can go in there and make sure that what's here is right?
we just, within the last hour and a half, got the revised zoning bylaws. So probably now they don't match.
Now, these don't match.
Right,
This is what came from KP Law.
right.
And it was a convoluted
Yes, thank
kind
you.
of, no, it was and they never went back and readdressed it and fixed it. And this is one of the disconnects that we've been having.
Right.
Because that apparently came out in August, or it was sent to
Yeah.
Jim, and we got it on December 7th. Which we've been waiting for, and it went to Jim Walsh, who was gone. He wasn't gone then, but it had the wrong subject line in the heading, and it was on just one of these long email threads again.
Oh, my God.
So, in fact,
This is convoluted.
this is
and
wrong. This is
Oh, yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
and
Where's the non-convoluted one?
I'm not even sure I printed
I
off a
just read
copy.
what Savory, it was so precise,
They
it was
will
so
match.
precise.
They will match.
They will match, but
These
they're not
things
going to
did-
be verbatim, because this is, I'm writing for, I'm writing in.
He's writing for
regular
everyone,
language.
and they're writing in legalese.
Right.
So it says right here, if I may, Chairman, it says change the building height from 40 to 60 feet and delete footnote 11. Now, I have no comparison, but they didn't delete, this is an alternative amendment. It says, and replace with a new footnote 11, and I'm going, what the heck is he talking
What
about?
I
I can't
believe,
keep going on here.
okay, why don't you throw this away?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
not with my handwriting on it,
Okay,
but
well,
anyway.
keep your notes, but
I
throw
just
that away.
need to make sure that what it was written here sounded really good to me. I could understand it. I want to see these articles that have been reworded because...
You will see everything before we submit them.
They will match.
They will
Not word
match.
for word, but what the legalese says will be correct in there in language that the everyday person would
Everyday
understand.
person says.
Okay, so it's not going to say delete the footnote and then it's not deleted.
Well, this was,
Probably not. You're probably right, because it doesn't correlate to anything that's there.
Yes, it's...
the
We
review we
may put
got.
a link to the actual language that people can go to and read if they want to, right there.
It'll be the
in that
same one
answer.
that they see on the warrant.
Yeah.
Right, but as far as, just common language,
Totally confusing.
You
Totally.
got it covered.
If I was at town meeting, I'd
Well,
probably walk out.
Think of how many times in town meeting you've read, especially a zoning article or a Concom article or a planning board article that is just confusing. And it might be the first time you see that.
Well, that's a reason not to get passed.
and we're trying not to do that.
So this is very clear and precise,
And that's what we want the regular people to know.
that's what and it's got to be clear and precise in that too.
And our frequently asked questions, if they're not enormously long, we may select them and do our own handout.
Right.
You know, an easy read it'll go with the warrant book.
Right.
Or some kind of a pre-education meeting of the people upstairs in the town hall in that big room prior to the town meeting. We got to get some education out here.
Well, that's the public hearing, and that's
You got to get education. Because
That's what we're trying to do.
I know I already heard this garbage going on here, and I don't like it either. So then I go read that, and I'm ready to get really sick.
From what I can see after I went through this, is that this was some kind of a combination of our questions back in August when it was proposed that we downzone that whole article,
It started there.
it started there. Which, you know, kind of got thrown out pretty quick, but these read almost as if Katie Klein was trying to meld the two. If you don't want to do it this way, do it this way. So that's
Yeah,
why it
because
says,
this is alternatives
that's why it
all
says
the
as the alternative
It's
is
like, oh my God.
delete 11 or keep 11. So,
Ridiculous.
so other than your notes, just ignore everything.
Yeah, I got quite a few notes.
I know, just ignore everything in there.
Okay.
Madam Chair, the proposed meetings, we talked about planning board and select board. We did not talk about finance committee. And that's on the agenda. Just
right.
to mention that we were going to meet with them.
Right.
Proposed meeting with them.
Is this part of the select?
No,
I
no.
see it here,
Yeah,
but
that-
is this over and above your select board thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it would be a separate meeting with the finance committee.
It's time for us to have one or two of us, if not all of,
I think all of us. You sure we can't all meet with these
Well, then it's a
characters?
joint meeting and,
Yeah. Didn't we have one before?
What do you
did.
think, Pat? You're on
Yeah, it's just-
finance.
Well, we don't have a meeting scheduled
Okay, well, I mean,
for any time in the near-term future that
We
I
don't
know
need one
of
near.
anyway. And what is there, well, I'll just put it out as a proposed general question, is there value to having combined full committee meetings? Or should there just be a representation? Well, it depends, I think, what you want to accomplish and how much communication you want to go back and forth.
I think the latter is what it should be. I think it should just be almost informal, but have two members so that the RDA understands what kind of things the Finance Committee is going to be looking from us. What answers they're going to have. We're going to know what questions the Select Board has. We're certainly going to know what questions the Planning Board has because they're going to have public hearings. We need to know what things the Finance Committee wants to know about this project, so they will endorse it. So that can be informal. One or two of us can go in and say, this is.
I think it's good, I'm just trying to kind of put in my head like an organizational,
I wish I could do that.
I think it's informational is a very good word, because I'm not so sure that the Finance Committee, what role they should have in this project.
Well, I guess my question is, how much of a role do they have now with the assessor's office in assessing properties and developing the tax structure on something new? None.
And how much,
Not that I know of. Anyway.
Okay, all right.
what would they have in, say, developing capital plans?
The Capital Outlay Committee is a subgroup of the Finance Committee now. That's the way it's structured now. It's relatively new. One of our members, Beth Solger, is the chairperson of the Capital Outlay Committee.
And is that the group that develops like a capital plan saying, we have to save money, we have to save $100,000 a year for 5 years to, for an example only, fix the air conditioning in the library.
Put out a 5-10 year,
Right,
more or even longer capital plan,
right.
and that would be something that would be developed by the Capital Outlay Committee in meeting with the various town departments and so forth.
Right.
So do you have joint meetings with them?
Not as yet, no.
Well, I think,
There will be one, but
I think once we have something from the, for the fiscal or the economic impact study, once we have something from that end of it, because basically our premise to the FinCom is this is good for Carver because it's going to bring in X number of dollars, and then we turn to ask the FinCom, could you use some extra money?
I think it,
I'm not so sure that's a, oh, I'm sorry, say it. Good.
I think that we should try to get 5 minutes on their agenda
Okay.
for the next meeting as informational, as you said,
Yeah.
to come in and tell the finance committee where we stand in a this level, not the nitty gritty, but just say, this is what we're working on, these are the things that we know, these are the things we don't know. We have a couple of questions for finance that maybe they are able to answer, or maybe it's not in their purview, but I'm sure that those members are going to have questions for us as well.
But I think as to, if this financial impact study is going to have an effect on the funds coming into the town, I don't think the question is to the finance committee, would you like some more?
Oh, come on.
No, that point goes to the town administrator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you like to have
Town
some
administrator,
more?
yeah.
Well, and we should have one here in a couple of years,
Couple of years.
by the time the project's done.
We'll see.
Maybe not.
So I think the informational is a very good word,
Okay.
just to apprise the finance committee of this, not to
And that's true, because they'll be at town meeting too.
not to ask their. I'm not.
Well, there are things that they may know, you being part of it, that you may know regarding how the finances work in a situation like this. I don't think it's as cut and dried as saying, okay, this is the assessed value, you're going to be charged because it's commercial $26.99 per thousand. There are going to be a sliding TIF or whatever that's called.
Well, yeah, we don't know that either.
I know, but
Right.
someone's got, that's part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I know that maybe it's not you guys, but you may know who does that. We certainly don't. Is that the assessor? I think it's the town administrator.
It is.
That negotiates those kinds of
Yeah.
deals.
It is, and the town budget is pretty much, well, at least the big parts of it. I mean, the school gets 70%. So
Right.
that's just automatic. Is this if this comes through and adds significant amounts of money into the town, is that dynamic going to change? Those are the kinds of things that are, I think, are beyond the scope of the finance committee.
They probably are.
Yeah, but that would be upstairs.
There may be people on the finance committee who know those answers.
Yeah.
Who does this?
Well,
So,
yeah, but it could be
so I think it's informational both ways.
informational only and not asking.
Yeah, you don't want to open up something that you don't, you shouldn't be there yet. Maybe you shouldn't be there yet. That's my
Well, I
opinion.
think informational is
I think
fine.
sooner the better. I mean, we're at the end of the year.
Who controls
Town
your
meeting's
agenda?
4 months from
Who controls the finance committee agenda?
Yes,
this past Sunday.
Alan Jermaine.
okay.
He's the chairperson?
He is.
He is? And you've taken over the capital outlay?
I have not.
Used to be a
No.
separate committee, wasn't it?
No,
Well, if
it's,
the finance, it's now a subcommittee of the finance committee.
Oh, so people within the finance committee are put out to the capital outlay?
Yep.
Is that how that works? Oh, okay.
One of our members is the chairperson of the capital outlay committee.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
All right, then I'll contact him about getting on, and one of the other four of us, two of the other four of us, you'll be with FinCom then, so. Given the role that the Finance Committee could play with the choice of the new
The proposed meeting,
TA.
excuse me, the proposed meeting with the planning board is part of the public session?
No, we'll
No.
have to meet with them beforehand.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The public hearings aren't going to be till March, so we have to meet with the planning board as well, earlier,
Okay.
January.
We'll just get, again, informational, we'll get on their agenda.
A lot will depend on what comes out of the meeting next Tuesday.
And actually, I think the sooner we get into the planning board as informational, again, a couple of us just coming in, would be good, because they may have questions that we need to address as well.
Yeah.
So the more we start getting the factual information out, we'll have,
So I have a question. When is the planning board going to look at these articles?
That's up to the select board.
it's up to, they vote them in or out. They can,
The select board votes to accept
Yeah.
the articles, in which case it goes
I
then to
don't
the
get
planning.
date, I'm looking for dates, and I'm not seeing anything. Everything is like the 20th, everything's got to be in. When does the select board get to look at all this stuff? And
Well, they
when
have
does
this-
it release itself to the planning board, so they have a look at it?
Well,
there's a, yeah.
they have to look at it before they do the public hearings. They have to accept it as articles that they're going to,
So,
There's a-
my
there's
point
a-
is, when are we, or some of us, going to interact
sometime
with the
between,
planning board?
sometime between December 20th and the first week in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Long time
No,
away.
sometime between when the articles are due and the first public hearing.
Okay.
That's as narrow as I can get.
That's
it.
just,
Yeah.
At this point.
I would say it would be sometime the first weekish of February, whenever the planning board's meeting in there, because we should get in and see we'll see the select board in executive session next week. We'll get on their agenda, and then I need to see when their meeting dates are. And again, it will be just informational, we're just coming in to catch you up.
Right, but I think again, I'm of the opinion that we should meet with any board and every board that
Yeah.
we want to earlier rather than later.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet with the planning board in January
Yeah,
to give them more time to think about what things they are concerned about, what things they want to know that they don't have answers to, because whatever answers they want on questions they have has to go on that website, so everybody knows.
and who handles their agenda? No, the planners?
I don't know, I'm heading up there tonight, so.
Oh, you are, okay.
The town planner used to, right? Jim Walsh used to.
Yes, Jim did that.
Okay, so if you can find out if they have meetings scheduled in January,
I'll
we'll
do
just,
that tonight.
we'll
'cause I
just
think
jump in
they'll
on
talk
one
about
of
their future meetings.
Okay, so if you
All right.
need to leave at 7,
No,
that leaves us a quorum. Okay, the update on
I
90,
couldn't miss Forest Street.
okay, very quickly on Forest Street. As everyone knows, Jack Williams had backed out of the deal, and Joanna had noticed in our P&S that we needed to have a signed release. So we have two things to deal with tonight. Kathleen O'Donnell out of Milton is a municipal law attorney who formerly worked for KPL and has been on her own for some time now, and she handled the RDA legal beforehand. So she has sent us a letter, I don't know if everybody got it, a letter of engagement, which
I don't
I don't know if I,
saw.
I had
I
sent
get
them out
some-
earlier, I
Okay.
sent it out earlier.
Yeah, and what it is,
It's somewhere.
what it is just a copy of, or the agreement that we signed. And she said she charged her billing fee, and she breaks it down into tenths. So I think, given the difficulties we're having with KPL on time-sensitive matters, this is the way to go, seeing as how we pay our own bills anyway.
Okay.
So this is a letter of engagement that she needs me to sign on behalf of the RDA.
All right, I'll make a motion that we allow the chair to sign the letter of engagement with Catherine Liddell.
Second,
All in favor, say aye. Aye. It is unanimous. I will do that. And the second thing, which she has already prepared, which is not dated, is a release of the deposit according to number 29 on our P&S. And it is, I won't read it into the record, but it basically, the buyer and seller are agreeing that they did not meet the contingency, or the buyer did not meet his contingency, and so we are keeping the $5,000 deposit, which is good because we probably used $3,000 on
yeah,
just
more than that.
getting the deed to
Right.
94th Street recorded. So I can sign this as chair and date it, and then it needs to be signed by Jack Williams. I spoke with Jill Martins today because I didn't know where to leave this. I didn't want to bring it home. I didn't want to leave it upstairs in the select board's office. Jill Martin said she would take it in a file, and I'll let him know that it's been signed and that he needs to come in and sign it.
Okay.
Is that good? Everybody good with that?
Do we need a motion on that?
Yeah, let's make a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion that we allow the chair to sign the, what is it called?
The
Release of deposit.
Release of deposit.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Madam Chair, if I could just go back to the letter of engagement.
Can I just
I'm sorry.
ask one more question? Is anyone coming into the town hall tomorrow? No, okay.
Oh, is anybody going to town hall? I am.
You coming
He
to
is.
town hall?
Yeah, he is. Actually, he's going to go to see
I'm going to go see Jill.
Jill,
Yeah.
if he's going to go see her.
She is expecting that.
She will get it.
Okay, now I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, that's fine. Based on the letter of engagement, and I sent it to you guys earlier, so if you looked at your phone, you should see it. She added compliance with applicable laws and regulations, Uniform Procurement Act and Acquisition, number 2, representation and purchase and sales of the CRA property, including preparation of purchase and sales deeds, mortgages, and other documents. And number 3, she says, and I totally agree with this, and I hope the committee uses her, review of the urban renewal plan and compliance of proposed projects with goals of such plan and the statutory limitations of the CRA. She works with extensive amounts of redevelopment people. Her zoning is her area of expertise. She's also a municipal lawyer. You know, it wouldn't hurt for us to have her come down, and she wants to come, and when we agree on this, she wants to come and be a part of one of the meetings. So you can ask her questions, and in any way that you need. Everything else could be either signed or do by Zoom. She does live in, her area is Milton. So that's my point.
Okay.
And I
Well,
know,
we're planning on using her for the next sale of 94th Street.
Yes.
And we have had 1 or 2 inquiries as far as they read in the paper that the property was available again. So we'll have discussions with her then.
would you be bringing her here so you can ask her questions? And what is
I'm gonna call her.
Good. But what is the committee's feeling on that number 3, reviewing of the urban renewal plan?
I would think that it's maybe not a bad idea, but I wouldn't do it until we have an interim town administrator on board who can sit in on the meeting, who knows that same type of situation. Because we would be relying on what Catherine said, which I'm sure would be fine, but we wouldn't probably know the right questions to ask.
Right.
So I think that we should have either a planner in place.
Either the planner.
Or an interim town administrator to sit in on the meeting.
And it may depend on the competence level of either.
Yes, it
So-
could. It could, but I don't think that we bring her in here and to talk about this until we have somebody who's a town
Somebody's-
employee who does that.
Right.
Who
That's a
does
good point, Savory. Thank you for that.
Because she could easily interact with permission to Kathleen Klein, Kathy Klein, Katie Klein. She's not Kathleen, she's Katie Klein.
that. Right.
Catherine.
She's Kathleen, and the other one is Katie, the one that's handling, Katie Klein is handling it. So
Right.
That's was,
Right, well, I think that we've got to keep them at this.
We've got to keep them separate because I can see us getting 2 bills then.
Yeah, and I could see us getting two different
It's 2 different.
process.
Yeah.
She, when I asked her
Yeah.
about bill paying, she did say, once these articles have been accepted by the select board, you should not have any other bills to pay. It should all be on the town.
It will be.
I asked her that
Right.
question
Yeah,
specifically.
Well,
Okay.
other than our consultant.
Right, but KP Law
Well,
will review the warrant for form and substance,
Yes.
and we don't have to pay a separate little Article 33
Right.
money.
Okay. Well, anyway, I just want you to keep that in mind.
I will. Thank you, and I will talk to her soon.
Well, that's good. And the other thing is, she mentioned, I did get a call from Brenda Titus, and based on that article that was read, somebody contacted her, very interested. But here's the issue. The variance is going to run out March 1st. And that was one of the questions that came back to her from that interested party, that they're going, what, can it get changed or cleared, or are they going to get trapped if they buy a piece of property? Because now the variance, you don't have the, I thought it was grandfather, but you say no. I thought it was grandfather. You were on the committee. I thought it was grandfather, and we decided that we didn't want any troubles here, there, or anywhere, so we went for the variance. That's what I
I
thought.
don't remember that. I remember getting the variance, and then it was going to run out, but COVID kept it going and going and going.
And we have an opinion from KP Law that it's good till June of 22.
So what's going to happen if
June.
we try to
June.
market that property?
So,
They have to act on the variance by June. No, you said March, but,
Yeah, March.
no, I have an opinion that
June?
it was June of 22.
so it's
I think.
That's because of COVID?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
usually only good for a year. Or 6
So that
months.
would have been March, really, if
Well,
it wasn't for COVID.
then we recorded an extension from the zoning
So
board.
the expectation, the person buys the property, they have to get all these permits or whatever they're gonna be doing in front of the planning board and everything, right? The project has to be green lighted.
Yep. They would consider that acting on it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a shovel in the ground, but they would consider it acting on it. The problem is bank financing, is it doesn't meet zoning for that area, because we changed the zoning for that area. When it was a house lot originally for the subdivision, Lillian
Yeah.
and Ann Way and Leonard Street, and Jack Williams let it go to tax title, we foreclosed, and then he wanted to buy it back again. But in the meantime, the zoning for that area changed after it had been taken for taxes. And now it needs 150 feet of frontage instead of 100.
Right, which this is, but it's gonna run out.
It's gonna run
And
out.
you don't go back to once you have a variance and it's done, it's
You've
done.
got one extension and that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
what
Yeah.
about spot zoning?
Yeah.
One spot.
Spot, yeah, how about one spot?
No one on the RDA would fight you on that one.
It sounds like it's gonna be hard to sell that property.
Well, no, we have to go back in front of the zoning board and do it again.
Yeah.
You can go back.
Oh, you can go back?
and
You can go
get
back.
Another variance, yeah.
You can do it again.
Yeah.
So it would be our obligation and not the buyer
They could do it if they wanted to. If they wanted, let's just say in a perfect world, one of the two interested parties wants to buy the property, and we go to P&S in January. This is a really perfect world. And that gives them, I think, I'll go back and look at the email again, but that gives them, say, 6 months to decide.
Okay.
If they don't get it done in 6 months, given the disruption of without a planner, without, the planning
Yeah,
board is
right.
overwhelmed.
Yep.
If they don't get it done in that, they can extend it themselves, but they would put that in the P&S. They may want us to do it if it doesn't work. It's an expense, but we can get some of it waived because it's town property.
So could I suggest, if I speak again with Brenda Titus, that
Nope,
don't speak with her?
no. Not till the first of the year.
Not what?
Not till the first of the year.
Okay.
Just, I want to make sure that Jack Williams is done.
Right.
And then it's 2 weeks, so in the first of the year, maybe we can talk to Kathleen about what this issue is.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But first of the year, okay? Don't think about it till the first of the year.
Okay, I'll try. Okay, I'll try. Okay.
And I believe that's all I have for 94th Street, other than it's still up there. My administrative support proposal, and this is something Sue and I chatted about briefly, and I am kind of drowning in paperwork right now without administrative support. I haven't uploaded minutes since
June.
August, I think.
I looked at it.
Oh, it's June? That's even worse. I have them.
They can't be, you shouldn't have it in Word, you should have everything in PDF.
Well, when I scan them, they'll be in PDF, but I haven't even scanned them yet. They're just in the stack. Anyway.
So can I say something to what you just said? When,
There isn't a person here who'd stop you.
okay, when,
Well, we're trying.
yeah, it's not gonna do any good, but when Pat and I went to see Jill, she committed that they could take over.
She did email me today and
She
said
did,
something like that.
And it won't be till the first of the year.
And I spoke with Sue, just feeling her out, asking her if she'd be willing, since we pay separately, if she'd be willing to just take my minutes that we've approved.
That's this, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you go by Sue or Susan?
Both.
Okay, fine.
Whatever you feel.
Okay.
I know you as Sue. So, but she would take the stacks of minutes I have. You probably would have to go back to the meetings. And they snowball, we're approved here. Oh, there they are. And then upload them. And Shelby said she would either set you up with your own password or you can use mine.
Okay.
But she's very kindly agreed to do this and get this one stack off my desk.
Good.
If it's okay with everybody here. I mean,
Yeah.
I told her she could bill us at the meeting rate or whatever. I don't care. I don't care.
But in January.
it's worth whatever you pay
We really
me.
need to pursue getting them back.
I had been told in no questionable terms that there was no assistance available down there. So if that was spoken incorrectly, then that's great, and I'll go down and see Jill.
Well, you should. Yeah.
So
And they'll post
will I meet
meetings
Shelby?
too.
What's that?
Will I meet with Shelby?
I think she either might be on a trip or...
I think she's on her vacation, right?
Last I knew, she was on
Yeah.
I heard from her
It's a
2
holiday
days ago.
vacation she's taken.
holidays.
Oh, okay. It's really kind of easy, but I can't do anything without my
Okay.
list of... I can send you mine, and it has my name and password on it, so
Okay.
it's really easy. And, like I get caught up with it, they say draft, and you have to upload them, and where does the draft word go? And it's just a matter of... I think I have the time, and I just
Okay.
don't. So do we need that as a formal vote that we're going to use her, or can we just do it?
I think we just do it.
I think we can just do it.
Yeah.
You get, what, you
Do it.
We don't
have to
need,
have a formal vote?
I don't think so.
No.
So,
Thank you, Sue, and you're one of us now.
You start now.
Is there an update from the treasurer? Now I get to look this way.
no.
Okay. And in keeping with my earlier thoughts, I don't have the 2 sets of minutes that we need to approve for tonight, so we're just,
That actually, because
Huh?
we didn't improve any last meeting.
we didn't
So it's
improve
like-
last meeting, and we have the ones you just sent today,
Yeah.
were they? Yeah.
Well,
Jeez, I
last
forgot
meeting
to
there was
print
3
them
to
out.
approve.
I
Get
forgot
out
to
of
print
town.
those out.
See, this is why I need
I haven't
help.
printed anything out. I haven't printed.
So there's 4
almost as old
outstanding
as I
right
am.
Okay. Without them in front of us, just 4?
Can we not do that?
I
'Cause
could have sworn it was 2. All right,
I didn't.
I'll make a motion that we
table
table the
everything.
minutes till our next meeting.
Okay? I'm
Those are
good
the
with
ones
that.
that came from Jill, right? That's the ones that Jill had sent while we were in her office, the
She'll
minutes?
send some out today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Well, but there was 3 that she gave me, and I hand-delivered them last meeting. to
Okay.
you.
Right,
Yeah.
And then the one last that you guys got.
Because she,
okay.
okay, I don't know.
Right, so you need a second.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that will be part of your job, your new part of your duties will be separating out whatever minutes that aren't approved. And I just lose track of some of the administrative stuff. Because we're
Could be
doing,
anything. You can't do everything.
I mean, we're doing the,
That's
I have to do the
Really, it's not
agendas.
your job. I mean, it
And I-
fell through.
And I actually have to change the color of the Post-it notes on my computer because I know this week it said orange for agenda. So next time I have to do it, because then I know I have to do it by a certain day, and it'll be a different color, so I don't see the same
You have
one.
to get some trainings. Is that what she has to get?
Well, she has something that.
I have something you can use.
I've never done it before, so I don't know the.
It's
procedure?
It's actually easy, once you, it only took me, what, 5 months to figure out
Well, you
how
figured
to,
out the calendar.
to figure out how to connect the agenda to the meeting calendar.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not very intuitive, but once you do it,
Yeah, once you do it, you don't lose the sections. Are there any specific comments?
I just had a question. Well, actually, I had 2. I printed out, the paper said they bought Cobb's Pond on 929. I think I asked Sharon that
Yep.
question, and she said that included part of Plimpton. Is that was for a rezone or something?
No, it's the Coon parcel, and can you lay out that map real quick? I'll show her right where it is. You're stacking your papers already.
I've got
It's
questions.
right here. Okay?
Okay.
And it was one last piece that they needed to buy. They call it the Coon parcel because that was the seller's name, Julie Coon. So it was one piece that's it's partly here and partly there.
Oh, okay.
So we need to rezone, and that's,
That's part of, is KP Law doing some of this stuff? Who's gonna rezone it?
the
no,
town meeting.
that's one of our town
articles.
meeting
Oh.
articles.
Oh, geez, did I miss that one?
Yeah, it's buried. It's next to the
Oh,
last.
not.
Okay, so that's taken care of.
The other question I have is, I got an email and a call from Kathy Kay, the treasurer, and she said that the 2 parcels, Roberts Way on Crystal Lake, that particular parcel didn't go. They weren't offered the kind of money they wanted. She wanted to know if we wanted it as a redevelopment, and she would talk to Rick to put an article together for the town meeting.
Is that the piece that Bob Belbin was
Yes,
looking
it
at
is.
when we
Yep.
were, when he
And
was
it
on
had the
this?
old,
It had the old
Clubhouse on it.
Yeah.
so there's 2 pieces. It doesn't amount to a whole lot of land. It would need significant zoning approvals to make it buildable, because
Yeah.
it's not buildable as it is now.
Well and septic.
Well and septic from Board of Health, and then even the 2 parcels combined, and like one goes this way, and I think one's kind of L-shaped, I'm not sure. when you combine them, they're still not even 20,000 square feet, I don't think. And since there's never any structure on it, it reverts to current zoning, which is 60,000 square feet and 150 feet of frontage, and it doesn't have any of that. So it would need significant zoning relief.
So it's a decline?
We'll talk.
Because the article
I
has to
think-
get in. If you want to accept it, the
Stop
article has to
zoning.
get in. Yeah, there you go.
You know what? Have her put the article in, and
Yeah.
we can withdraw it at town meeting. It'll give us time to investigate it.
It'll give you something to do when 90s Forest is sold.
Jesus, yeah, like I love it. The other thing is, she talked about tops, and she told me that she had sent out a letter to Will St. Clair, and when he resigned, he never really passed it on to us. And she wanted to know if, specifically me, would your committee, would you want to be, she'd like to open up in January. She has several parcels, not necessarily land, but these are homes.
Okay.
We did homes before. I've talked to Brenda Titus when I was talking about this deal, because I remembered we did homes, and she would come in and do an eval, tell us what we needed to do. She had some suggestions of people that she knew to do the work, and it was not, and it was easy. It wasn't difficult. Well, maybe it's difficult now. It wasn't difficult before. Because you know why? Because she's being the real estate agent, they handle it.
Yes, I get that. I understand that.
And it'd also be a question of whether we would move into like an affordable housing
I was thinking that.
partnership.
Yeah, because there are certain groups in town.
Certain
Yeah.
groups in
Veterans.
towns.
Right,
Veterans,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it would have to be some kind of a partnership.
Yeah.
That the property, if we rehabbed it, became.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for an appointment from the RDA for the TOPS committee to represent the RDA, is there a motion on the floor? Do you want to do it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
I'll move that we nominate Joanna to represent the RDA on the TOPS committee.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So moved, so passed.
Great. We'll give it a shot, Also, when I spoke with Kathleen, she said we as a committee can have a trust. We can keep the money that we make. We don't have to give it back to the town. And with that, you can build your,
Well, we definitely need money to further the work of the RDA, and especially in the affordable housing. And there may be
Right.
something with the CPC that we can partner with, but it's not anything we can investigate it, but it's not anything we're going to decide tonight.
oh, no, I'm just giving you, just opening the door.
Just keeping it in mind.
Yeah, I'm just opening that door.
There will be life after 94th Street. Oh, yeah, and the Route
No, but I'm just
44.
opening the door that it can be, and you have this huge project going on, and, because I explained to her, it's a huge project, but that doesn't mean we can't
No, it
chew
doesn't
gum
mean
and
we
walk
can't
at the
do
same
something else.
time, or however that expression goes,
Are
but,
there any other
Early
comments?
60s when Forest Street was on
I got
this.
some questions.
Pat has some questions?
Well, I've got some
I was in my
bills.
early 60s when Forest Street
We
was
can
on
do
the
those
agenda.
afterwards.
What?
68 now, it's still there.
Are these, we don't need to vote on these to be paid.
I need some, well, I want to go over them. We've got a one bill to reimbursement to Paul Kelly for his, I got this from Savory
Yep.
too. It's for, what's that for, Savory? Wix?
Yes,
Oh, that's the
his,
server?
his hosting service.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. We got a bill from Susan, and we got that. Now, I got two legal bills that I got from Jill today, and I'm not sure if they're ours or the town's.
well, when I quickly looked at them, you can have her look at them, but I think that has to do with the preparation, which would have to come out of the George McLaughlin, or the 44 development side of the house. You can't,
Okay.
that wouldn't be Hillward. That would be
No.
the
Okay.
George McLaughlin.
All right. Say if we look at that one, did you see that one?
There's 2 pages to that one, isn't there?
Yeah, there's 2 pages there. But if they're talking about Montello Street, are they talking about the Mass Works grant, or are they talking about just Montello Street is using it as
Oh,
an
good
identifier.
question.
This is the grant, this is the town.
So that's the
So the
town.
Mass Works, I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, this is the town, this is all Montello Street. No, it's not all, it's different. Because the last item is about the zoning change.
It's all mixed?
Yeah,
It's
here's,
mixed?
here's one that goes to the Carver RDA.
That would be town,
This one's all ours.
that would be us.
Okay.
Look at the second page. when
But-
you can.
I think I got ours.
That would be town. Town. The second and last one's on this page, there's nothing on this second
Oh, there's
page,
not?
on this one.
It's postage.
No, there's another page that's all ours.
Right.
It was
But on
on-
this one, only the second and last items are ours. The other four are about Montello Street, and they're all town.
So the second and last,
Yeah, the second one is,
okay.
yeah, the balance of town. 'cause that's
So
all
when you
Montello
see
Street.
Rick tomorrow, Pat, you'll be talking with Rick?
I don't know if I'm gonna see him when I talk to him.
Well, lack of having a town planner, he's gonna have to be responsible for that payment.
I'm sure he gives it to somebody.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to split that. I gotta figure
Or
out how
Elaine
we're
or
gonna do
something.
that. I'll write some checks tomorrow.
Okay.
And I need somebody to sign off on a few of these too, so I can have them in hand.
All right, we can do that housekeeping.
All right, next meeting,
I'll take whatever anybody says.
January 4th.
The week after the holiday? Are you meeting every 2 weeks? Are you doing?
Well, no, it will be 3 weeks, because 2 weeks from today is the Tuesday between Christmas and New Year.
Okay.
So if we go 3 weeks, it's January 4th.
Oh, okay.
Just see when zoning is. We set a
And
bunch
that
of,
puts us on the 1st and 3rd, which is what we've kind of been doing.
All right, we're gonna meet on a Tuesday, the 4th.
we've been meeting on Tuesdays.
The 4th is a Tuesday.
We have been meeting on Tuesdays.
The 1st and 3rd, right, you said?
Yeah. And that could put us in, on the same calendar day as the working.
Okay, oh, that's good. All right, the 4th is good for me. How about you guys?
Fine with me.
4th.
Okay.
The 4th is, okay?
Yep,
Yep.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, is that good for everybody? So our next meeting is January 4th, 2022.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Is this the room here, 4?
Yeah,
You're only gonna set that one meeting, not the one for the 2 weeks later?
yeah, we'll look at,
Excuse me?
yeah, we'll look at it. and-
Because we maybe start meeting with other,
Yeah, we may have
We
to
may.
break up.
have to meet with planning and
Yeah.
we've got to see what their schedule is so we don't conflict.
Is there a second for the motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.